Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how the Toyota Supra will have a manual transmission in the near future. Before we get into the video though, I do want to mention if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, I'm going to include a link to my car buying guide in the description down below. I will be increasing the price by a slight margin in the next few weeks, so if you want to get it at the lower price, I recommend getting it now. Let's get into the video. So Toyota is in fact adding a manual transmission to the Supra. This is something that they should have just done at launch, but they didn't really have a huge need to do so because there was no competition for the Supra at that time. And obviously sharing a platform with the BMW Z4, which only uses an automatic transmission, it just made sense for Toyota to only do an automatic just to save on cost. But now with the new Nissan Z coming out with an automatic and a manual transmission, it's pushed Toyota to obviously put a manual in the Supra so that it stays competitive, because there was a lot of people that, were basically going to just dump their Supras and go over to Nissan, which Toyota does not want that to happen. So yeah, they're adding a manual transmission. Now, we don't have any other information other than there will be a manual, so we don't know if this is going to be with the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder or with the turbocharged 3-liter inline 6. My personal guess is it's just going to be paired with the inline 6. The reason that I am guessing such is because the BMW M3 and BMW M4 both have a 6-speed manual transmission that's paired to a turbocharged 3-liter inline 6. Same engine that the Supra has, except that version is tuned to have quite a bit more power than the Supra. But anyways, there's a manual transmission with those cars with that engine that the Supra has, so that means the Supra will probably have a manual transmission with that engine, and the turbocharged 2-liter will probably be automatic only. Maybe they'll throw a manual with it. What I could see them doing is taking the manual transmission from the Toyota 86 and throwing it into the 2-liter Supra, so that could work. So they basically use a BMW manual for the 3-liter inline 6 Supra, and then they could use the Toyota 86 manual transmission for the 2-liter Supra. So yeah, maybe they'll do both, but again, I don't think that will happen. Now, what this means for the Supra and for the Z. So first off, for the Supra, I think this is going to increase the popularity of the car by a massive amount. And this is coming from someone who owned a Supra for like 6 months, roughly. Loved the car. Driving dynamics are amazing. It sounds fantastic, and it's fun to drive. But the reason I sold that car is because of the automatic. It just got boring after a while with that 8-speed automatic transmission. But if it had a manual, I probably would have never sold it. And so I think that there's going to be a large influx of enthusiasts that'll be chasing after the Supra because it has a manual now. And I think this is really going to pull a lot of attention away from the new Nissan Z. Now, I will be doing a in-depth comparison with both the cars once I drive the new Z, because obviously I've already owned a Supra, so I know how that drives. And I've driven manual transmission BMWs, and so I'm going to kind of put that together to kind of estimate what the Supra will drive with the manual transmission. And then once I drive the Z with the automatic and the manual, I'll be able to tell you guys, driving dynamics with both of them, how they compare, and I'll put that on the main channel. But the point I want to make in this short video is I think that the Supra with the manual will be the most desirable car, or the more desirable car, rather. The reason being is I've driven the Nissan 370Z, and I've driven the Infiniti Q60 Red 400 Sport. So I know what that turbocharged engine drives like, because that's what's in the Q60. And then I also, roughly know what the new 400Z drives like. Again, I haven't driven it yet, so just take this with a grain of salt. I'm basically mentally combining the powertrain from the Red 400 Sport with the driving dynamics of the 370Z with the manual transmission. And kind of what I get out of that is really good driving dynamics, but the engine just doesn't have the same punch that the Supra engine has. BMW is really good at building engines that have tons of low-end torque, and so it just pushes right off the line and goes all the way to red line, and it's just a really exciting experience. And again, it's just really punchy. Whereas the engine in the Q60 that'll be in the new Nissan Z, it's one of those engines that you don't really get a punch right off the line, but once you get into it, it pulls all the way to red line. So it's exciting in a different way, but it doesn't have the same punch that the 3-liter inline 6 does that is in the Supra. And so I think that the Supra is still just going to be the crazier car, and that more people are going to run after that. But I still think the Z is going to have its own little spot. But anyways, that's going to sum things up for today's video. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this news, if you're planning on getting a Supra now that they are going to put a manual transmission in it, or if you think that you're going to stick with Nissan and the new Nissan Z, and I'll see all of you.